Days ago, I was reading Sharanagati by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And he has a song in the beginning where it's just lamentation about his whole life, how he wasted his life. I was feeling very bad. And Prabhupada said, well, you would wonder, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's liberated soul is actually a Manjari and he's come to this world. Was he just praying like that for us, or did he actually feel like that? And the answer is yes and yes. But the first answer is he did feel that way. And for us, it's like, how could he feel that way if he's so high, he feels like his life is useless and he doesn't have any bhakti? So, a lot of us feel like that also, right? I'm wasting life, I'm wasting time, I don't have bhakti, I'm thinking about pizza and the holy dham, and we're like, I'm so bad. Isn't it?
Yes.
The holy dham, why are you thinking about this? And then I read Bhaktivinoda Thakur's song and I realized that no matter how Krishna conscious you become, you still feel like that. So you think, I just don't. I'm uncomfortable in my own skin, I don't feel like I have bhakti, and I'm wasting time. And, 50 years from now, when you're very advanced, you're going to feel the same way. Like your whole life, you're going to feel like that. There's never going to be a time when you won't feel like that. Maybe you'll feel more like that later in your life. But I think the difference will be, that feeling will be blissful. It will be coming from a different energy. But it's interesting, isn't it? That, like, we don't like to feel that way, and then you read the prayer of a pure devotee, and that's how they feel. And then you realize, yeah, I'm going to feel that way, even as an advanced devotee. I'm always going to feel like I don't have love of Krishna. There's something wrong with me. I could be better. So, that may be something we never escape. But, how do we deal with it? Well, what we're feeling is not what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is feeling. And the pure devotees, they think, if I misuse 1 second, that I'm very bad and very fallen. That's how they feel. If we only misuse 1 second in a day, we'd feel pretty good, wouldn't we? Right? So what they're feeling, what we're feeling is different, and we have to process it differently. So we have to find this. We have to find things which can encourage us, because there's a lot of things that can discourage us, right? I mean, if you look at all your faults, you could become discouraged. So we need to find things that can encourage us. And you all probably know this story. This one brahmachari, he went out on Sankirtan and he sold like 3 magazines. And the magazines were like a few paisa. This was in the time of Bhaktisiddhanta. And Bhaktisiddhanta praised this devotee. Wonderful seva, wonderful service. And sometimes devotees would do like amazing service, but they were proud, and Bhaktisiddhanta was just like, give them the cold shoulder, just, or chastise them. So the idea was that he was pleased by the sincere effort. And the beautiful thing about bhakti is you can always make a sincere effort. Wherever you are, you can always make a sincere effort. You don't have to be up here to make a sincere effort. And if you make a sincere effort, Krishna's pleased. So you can pat yourself on the back. Well, there's several times Prabhupada said, if you do this, you'll please Krishna. And if you please Krishna, what more could you want? Like, what more in the world? Well, does it get any better than I please Krishna? Okay, that's pretty good. So now where do you go from there? What's next? What's above that? No, if you can please Krishna, that's it. So there are little things we can do to please Krishna. If you look at Prabhupada's letters, there's this statement, I am very pleased, and then with whatever it was the devotee I'm very pleased with. You find that again and again and again. And we were just new devotees. falling over, trying to do something. But we'd get a little success. Something would happen. I'm very pleased. So we can please Prabhupada. That's amazing. If Prabhupada's pleased with us, what else could you want? What else could you ask for? So that way we can pat ourselves on the back. That if we're sincere, we can please Krishna. And the other thing is, if we follow the process properly, we will make advancements. So we'll be better next year than we were this year, and better the year after than we were the next year, like that. So, and you might say, yeah, but what is 1 mile on a journey of 1,000,000? Krishna's 1,000,000 miles away, and I'm only making. But Prabhupada can make up that gap. Have you ever heard Prabhupada say, "Don't make me come back to save you"? Have any of you ever heard that? Prabhupada said, "Don't make me come back to save you."
Oh, yeah.
It's like, so what does that mean? Is he here saving all of us? Well, maybe not exactly, but we've heard stories where Prabhupada appeared to devotees who were leaving their bodies. And these devotees were not, they were his disciples, but they had left Krishna consciousness, so they weren't doing well, and Prabhupada appeared. And we've heard a few other stories where Prabhupada appeared. So it looks like he came back to fill in the gap. I mean, how do we know that? Because the devotee, when he was dying, said, "Oh, Prabhupada, you've come." And his wife heard it. And she didn't even know who Prabhupada was. She went to the temple. Who's Prabhupada? Well, how did you hear about him? Because my husband, when he was dying, said, "Prabhupada, you've come." So, I think if we look at advancement in Krishna consciousness solely from the platform of how advanced I am, and then we calculate that by maybe comparing ourselves to exalted devotees in our scripture, then that could be a little discouraging. But if you look at it in terms of making progress, that's encouraging. And I think it's important that we should be encouraged, we should encourage ourselves in the way that Prabhupada encouraged us. Because, you may go out and distribute some books and say, "Prabhu, that's amazing. Prabhupada would be so happy." You might say, "Yeah, but," and then you make some, he's happy with you, but I'm just a, whatever, you make an excuse. But I don't think that's right. We shouldn't do that because that's not what Prabhupada said. So why should we say it? And sometimes you ever do that? Like if I asked you, did you ever say anything that Prabhupada didn't say? The opposite. You would say, "No, I would never say that." But we do. So sometimes we put ourselves down and Prabhupada would pick us up. You agree?
Yes.
Prabhupada would. I mean, if you deviate philosophically, then Prabhupada would smash you. I asked Shruti Kirti, I said, "What upset Prabhupada the most?" He said, "Philosophical deviation." Because that would ruin everything. If you're just fallen, it's not going to destroy the Krishna conscious movement. But if philosophical deviation is like a disease and it'll get in there, destroy you, and it'd start to destroy other people. And it could destroy the whole movement eventually. The whole thing could shift to some kind of apasampradaya. But when disciples tried to follow Prabhupada, you could say generally, unless they made huge blunders which had huge ramifications, he was pleased. So I think it's important that we're realistic about how fallen we are, but at the same time, we also find ways to appreciate that we are making progress and that Prabhupada is pleased. Now some devotees will say, "Well, but if I think like that, then I'll become proud." And that may happen, but there's another side. If you don't think like that, you may become depressed. So now the next question is, who's better? The proud devotee or the depressed devotee? Which one's better?
Depressed.
But the depressed may give up. The proud devotee will keep going. And Krishna, then he gives Krishna a chance to smash him. But the depressed devotee may give up. No, I'm not recommending that we become proud, but and I've often made the point, sometimes if you praise the devotee, then don't praise me, I'll become proud. Right? But it's not that if I'm praised I'll become proud. You already are proud. And praising is activating the pride. So that you have to understand. It's not like you become proud. Because if you're not proud, praising won't make you proud. It's only if you are proud, it activates it. Isn't it? So, but if someone wants their pride to be activated, they don't have to be praised. They just have to walk down the street. Look at me. Look how I walk. Isn't it? Isn't it? You ever see people walk like, this is like, look at me, look how I walk. You know, so if you want to be praised, if you're looking for that, then anything can stimulate it. Isn't it? But Prabhupada was encouraging. We need to encourage ourselves. We need to recognize where we need to improve. But it's my experience that the desire to improve is what's most important, not where you are on the road, but you want to go there. And there's one man came to Prabhupada, and he told Prabhupada, I want to become a pure devotee. And Prabhupada was so happy. He was so happy. And Prabhupada said, Dad, I mean, how many people do you meet? You give them a Bhagavad Gita. Oh yeah, Bhagavad Gita. I always wanted to become a pure devotee. This book can do it. Oh, thank you. How many people have you met like that? You meet any on book distribution? Sometimes you don't even meet them in ISKCON. You want to be pure devotee? Nah. I like prasad, but you know, the austerity. So this man, isn't it? This man told Prabhupada, I want to become a pure devotee. And Prabhupada said, that's amazing. He said, that's such a good desire. So, if you have a desire to become a pure devotee, then Prabhupada's telling you, that's like, you're amazing, that's fantastic. And you might say, but I really don't have a desire. Do you have a desire to become pure devotee? Yeah, probably, right? If you don't have the desire, you would like to have it. I mean, if I could give you the desire, bang you on the head and give it to you, would you take it? I'm sure you would. Would you? Yeah. So we have at least a desire to have the desire. And that's almost as good. Right? So I'm looking for things you can find to encourage yourself. Because without becoming proud, but just, you know, that gets you out of bed and gets you to the temple in the morning. You know, in a good state of consciousness. Another thing, you know that story, it's an interesting story. I told it recently. Several disciples, two disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta, I think they had been devotees for 10 years, or maybe 20. And they went to him and said, Guru Maharaj, we've been chanting every day for so many years, 10 years, 20 years. Something's wrong, we're not making any advancement. And what did Bhaktisiddhanta say?
That's good.
Yeah, first he said, it's very good. Sounds like the curse of the Guru. You will never make it. He said, very good. Guru Maharaj, why very good? He said, because it means you're humble. And if you said, I'm making advancement, I would be worried. So a lot of us are going around thinking, I'm not advanced, I'm not making advancement, or I have faults and so forth. And so Bhaktisiddhanta is saying, well, that's good that you realize that. That's better than walking around saying, I'm number one. I'm making advancement. How are you doing, Prabhu? I'm making advancement. I'm becoming very Krishna conscious. I mean, if someone told you that, what would you think? Would you think something's wrong with him? Would you? How are you doing, Prabhu? Very good. My rounds are, like on a scale of 1 to 10, my rounds are 11. And I'm just like, I'm really relishing Krishna consciousness, and I'm really feeling humility now, and it's just incredible. And then you would think, this is a problem, right?
But sometimes saying that I'm not making any advancement, it can be also a sign of proud, being proud.
Could be. But in this case, it sounds like they were pretty sincere. That they just didn't feel like it. And so sometimes the sign of advancement is you don't feel like you're making advancement. Sometimes you're right, you're not making advancement. So that's not, you're not advancing. You're 100% right. But I would assume that he thought they were making advancement. Yeah. So sometimes it may be a sign that you're advancing that you think you're not advancing. But definitely, we need signs to encourage ourselves. That, you know why? This is what I think. I heard this lecture, and I got really inspired. And you know I got inspired? As Prabhupada said. He said to all of us, he said, you were all sent by Lord Chaitanya to help me. You're all devotees in your last life. And I thought, wow, I was a devotee in my last life. But, you know, not in a proud way, but I was thinking, like I've done this before. Prabhupada confirmed it. And it gave me some kind of strength to know, like, you know, just identify. I'm actually a devotee. This is what I did in my last life, or who knows how many lives. And I got the opportunity to serve Prabhupada, so I must have done something special to end up here, right? And now you're all in Mayapur. You must have done something special, some connection. Now, of course, you could have been a fly that fell in the Charnamrita. That's also possible. Your last life in the LA temple, you know, someone spilled Charnamrita and you. That's also possible, but mercy cases. But anyway, when Prabhupada said that, it gave me this identity. I'm a devotee, and I think that's important, an important identity, because that we are devotees. And you know, if you get too negative, it's like your kind of identity changes. Like I can't be a devotee, or it's hard to be a devotee, or maybe I'll never be pure, and that's an identity. Isn't it? If you ever say, I don't think I can be Krishna conscious, that's an identity which you just adopted with that statement, or you already had it and you just stated it. Isn't it? And so in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a verse, it's a very interesting verse. This Brahmin from Avanti saying, I will be Krishna conscious in this life. Whoa. Hold on, who are you? It's like that same idea. And Prabhupada makes the point. He says, yeah, this sounds wrong. It doesn't sound like the right move. I will be Krishna conscious. He says, Aham tarishami duranta tamo. I will cross over the ocean of nations. I will do it.
It's a hope against hope, yes.
No, this was a little different. Well, you could say that. This is a different verse. I will cross over. And then he says something interesting. Because this is his identity. I will cross over the ocean. And that's his identity. But this is who I am. And then Prabhupada says, oh, but it seems like proud. How is it? Because everyone who followed this path did it. And I'm following this path, so it will happen automatically. So the pride is more in the process. And I'm going to follow the process, and therefore I'll be successful. I'm going to get on that boat and go to Navadvip. And you walk down to, what's it? Pularga? What's the name? Kular? Kula. Kula. Hula. I'm going to Hula, and I'm going to get on the boat, and it's as simple as that. I'm going to get on the boat of the lotus feet of Prabhupada, and it's going to go over. So, yes, I am a devotee, and I'm going to be Krishna conscious. That's an identity we need. We need that encouragement, right? Otherwise you think, oh, Maya is so strong. And then you get a new identity. What's your new identity? Maya is strong. And I'm weak. That's my new identity. If you have that identity that Maya is strong and I'm weak, what do? You act according to that identity. Correct? Yeah. So when Prabhupada said, you're all devotees in your last life, you all came to help me. One time he said, "You're all associates of Lord Chaitanya." I was feeling really good. Yes, I'm a devotee. This is who I am. This is my identity. So you have to have that identity. I'm a servant of Krishna. If you have that, then you're encouraged. I'm a devotee. Are you a devotee? Oh, I'm trying to be, Prabhu. I don't know. No, we need that. I'm a devotee. This is what I do, and it's encouraging. Does that make sense? But anything negative, it becomes an identity. And then whatever your identity is, you lift that up, isn't it? You know, we told that story many times about this. Well, you all haven't heard it, about a lion who, when he was a baby cub, he was abandoned by his parents, and then he was raised by bears. And certain species of lion, when they're babies, they look like bears. And so the bears thought he was a bear, just a slightly different color, and they adopted him. And then when he got bigger, they didn't know he was a lion, they just thought there was something wrong with him. And so they said, what are the neighbors going to think when they see you? You have to leave. You're embarrassing us. So then he left, and he was depressed. And he went to a psychologist, therapist. When you're depressed, you go to a therapist. So he went into therapy, and he said, look at me. I'm like this weird-looking bear. No bear has ever looked like this before. And my whole family has abandoned me. My original bear family abandoned me. My adopted bear family abandoned me. There's something wrong with me. So that was his identity, and he was depressed. So the therapist said, actually, you're a lion. You're not a bear. He goes, no, I'm a bear. But an ugly one, a strange one. Who would, you and my mother wouldn't love me. So anyway, you understand the idea, right? So that's going on, and eventually the therapist convinces him he's a lion. And once he's convinced he's a lion, then he's like tough and strong. He's so happy. He's not depressed anymore because he got his identity back. So if we have our identity that I'm Krishna's devotee, that's what I am, I always will be, and this is just it, then you feel like the lion. What do you think? I'm a mutated bhakta. Something wrong with me. You ever feel like a mutated bhakta? I could never be Krishna conscious. I think it's really bad to think that way. But my point is, you might say, well, if I read Shastra, I kind of get this idea that I'm not much of a devotee. But my point is, Prabhupada never made us feel that way. He might have said we should be humble, we shouldn't think we're great, but he never made us feel like any other identity. Like, what's your identity? Bad devotee. Guilty devotee. Shameful devotee. He never made us feel that way. He only made us feel like, yeah, here's Krishna consciousness. Just do it. Enjoy it. And what did Prabhupada say? Every time he came to the temple, they'd have a greeting. He would go in the temple room. He would sit down on his Vyasasana, and then the first thing he would say is, are you all feeling guilty? No, he didn't say that. Is everybody happy? So why did Prabhupada say that? I can tell you personally, because whenever a devotee said, Prabhupada, yes, I'm happy. Now that I've become a devotee, I'm happy. That made Prabhupada, I think, happier than anything. That's what he wanted. He had come to make us happy. And when a devotee, and he would ask devotees a lot of times, do you like this Krishna consciousness? Are you happy? Yes, Prabhupada. I was very unhappy before I was a devotee. Now I'm happy. Prabhupada would make him so happy. So I think it's important to think like that, In your whole analysis of how fallen you are and how bad you are and all that, it shouldn't come out to make you depressed and unhappy. It should just be, something to reflect on. Okay, I need to improve in these ways. But this is what Prabhupada wanted to see. So that's why he asked, are you happy? And what do you think everybody said? No, Prabhupada. Maya's so strong, we're not happy. We're just struggling. No, everybody said yes. And as you could imagine, even if you weren't happy, when Prabhupada said, "Are you happy?" that was it. You were happy. It's just, of course. Is everybody happy? What are you going to say? No, Prabhupada. It would make you happy. And there's a funny story. Prabhupada had a servant, and his servant was not happy. And you know what it's like to have a servant? That person's always with you. And could you imagine having a servant who's not happy? And you have to look at you have to be around this person, all the time. Prabhu, can you get this? Okay. Why is prasadam late? I don't know. It's like really hard. It's not, you think, oh, have a servant is great, but it has to be the right person. So this person was depressed. And it was negatively affecting Prabhupada. He didn't like to see it. Because he came to make us happy. And he was joking with him, and he said, I don't want to see your sad face all the time. And if you can't put on a good face, go in the closet and lock the door so I don't have to see you. Of course, Prabhupada is sometimes sarcastic and funny, but I think it makes the point. You're a devotee, devotee means happy. So, and if you're happy, that makes Prabhupada so happy because he came to make us happy. You agree? Obviously, when Prabhupada was thinking about spreading Krishna consciousness, he wasn't thinking, oh, this is really good. We'll give Americans, and we'll give Westerners the teaching of the Gita. They'll never be able to follow it, and they'll become depressed, full of guilt, and, this would be a great movement. Obviously, he wasn't thinking like that. He was thinking, this will solve their problems, they'll become happy. But he didn't realize how neurotic Western people are. So even if you give them something good, they become depressed. Right? How was prasadam? It was fantastic. But I ate too much. I'm so bad, I always eat too much. What's wrong with me? That was not what Prabhupada was expecting of us.
But sometimes we are happy when we are around spiritual master, but when the spiritual master is disappearing, we are not in his presence, we are unhappy.
Yeah, that's there. But the Bhagavatam will make you happy, the holy name. Deity worship. You have to find those things in bhakti that make you happy. I was in London, I think, I don't know when was, November or something. October, November. And this one girl wanted to talk to me, and she said, I'm not really happy. I said, you really need to find something you like to do. I said, what do you like to do? And she said, I like to cook. And so if someone says I like to do something, the next question is, could you do this all day? Because that's really like just could you sing all day? She's sung too many days already. She's over. But generally, you could sing. Generally, if you like something, you can do it all. Maybe not all day, but every day. So I said, could you cook all day? And she said, oh yeah, I could cook all day. And I said, why don't you just do that? And I could see there was this cloud over her, well, you're not supposed to do what you like, because that would be Maya. In the meantime, she's in total Maya, not doing what she likes. Isn't that funny? I'm not going to do what I like because it's Maya. Are you happy now? No. Are you inspired? No. Would you be inspired if you cooked all day? Yes. Don't you think that's a good idea? I never thought of that. Isn't that funny? Do you ever think like that? Okay, we want to do what Krishna wants us to do. That we understand. But there's so many things that Krishna wants us to do. So, there's plenty of cooking. If you're a Brahmin, you can be cooking or cooking at home. So, if that inspires you. So sometimes We're not happy because we're not inspired by what we're doing. Or we're trying to put off what we like doing because we're afraid it'll be sense gratification. And again, it's like that pride thing. It's not going to be, nothing's going to be sense gratification unless you make it sense gratification. You could do your favorite thing. Krishna gives you the opportunity to do it. And then you think, I just want to do this to please Krishna. And if you're in that mentality, you're safe. But you're inspired because you like it. Right? Yes? Like, have Kirtan Mela, all these Kirtaniyas. And it's like for the Kirtaniyas, to lead a Kirtan Mela in Mayapur, it's like, wow, of course. If they asked me to do that, of course I will. Would you like to do that? Yes. Okay, disqualified. Because you want to do it, we won't. Only if you say whatever you want, Prabhu, we will ask. No, so every Kirtaniya wants to do that. Chant with like 3,000 devotees in front of the Panchatattva? Of course. That's like amazing, right? So, yes, I want to do that. Prabhu, would you like to cook for Radha Madhava? Of course I would. You wouldn't say no, because I don't want to do it because I want to do it. You wouldn't say that, would you? I hope not. Does that make sense? So, part of being happy in Krishna consciousness is finding that service that gives you inspiration, that you love to do. Yes?
Yes.
It's okay to be happy. I give you permission. For all the psychotic, neurotic, and other crazy devotees, just want to let you know it's okay to be happy. Being depressed is not a sign of advancement in our stage. It may be on a higher level, but in our stage, it's not a sign of advancement. Probably a sign of misunderstanding philosophy, I think. So, should I continue, or you want to ask questions? Yes.
How do we use the false ego in
How do we use it?
in Krishna's service?
We use it by destroying it. Yeah, you don't use false ego.
Because it's the false ego that makes us this hidden pride. It's the false ego. So how do we use the false ego?
Why would you want to use it?
Because it's there. It's there.
Oh. Mm-mm. False ego is in total opposition to bhakti. So you have to act in real ego. You can't.
Can we understand that false ego comes under the inferior energy?
It's material,
It's material, it's inferior.
but it's
Other things also.
but false ego means I'm the body. All right, use your body in Krishna service, but don't think you're the body. False ego means I think I'm the body. Sometimes what we've seen is there may be a devotee who's very proud, but that pride motivates that devotee. Like they get inspired and everybody praises them. But so sometimes Prabhupada would, like, okay, he's proud, encourage him, praise him. But you have to overcome it at some point. It's going to end up destroying you. So, Krishna we're like children, so Krishna lets us make mistakes.
Yeah,
Maybe
we cannot just stab the false ego.
No,
That's
no.
what happens when we're in low
It's not like that. False ego means I'm using things for sense gratification. Real ego means I'm using it for Krishna. Idam Vishnave Namama. Everything for Vishnu, nothing for me. Yeah, that's real ego. Everything for me, nothing for Vishnu, that's false ego. So how do you use false ego in Krishna service? If false ego means everything for me, nothing for Krishna. So you have to purify it. Everything for Krishna, nothing for me. But what's interesting, like, we eat prasadam, but that prasadam, before we eat it, it's for Krishna. So everything for Krishna, nothing for me, but we're all fat. So how did that happen? So by thinking everything for Krishna, nothing for me, you get everything. But by thinking everything for me, nothing for Krishna, then you create all this bad karma. So you have to purify the ego. So, and everything you own, everything you do is for you, that's false ego. So how do you engage the false ego? You want to define, false ego is a concept that I'm God. I'm the controller and enjoyer. So you have to purify it.
So there are like phases of purifying because we cannot, it's
Yeah. Phase 1 is understanding and acting. Phase 2 is realizing. So before you realize, you have to understand and act. I mean, there's so many times we've done things we didn't want to do because we knew it's the right thing. But I once made these affirmations. They're so interesting. I am a devotee of Krishna. I am spirit soul. I am eternal. I am blissful. You know, just to like hone in that identity that we forget. False ego is I am a body. I am Sonal Mathur. How old are you? 32. I am Indian. That's false ego. This is my parents, this is my brother. That's false ego. So when you flip it around, then this is my identity in this life. That's real ego.
So the I'm happy is the better part, like you explained. The I'm happy is the better part.
Yeah, because you're Satchidananda, you are. That is your identity. I am happy. I am eternal. I am full of light. I am full of love. All the affirmations. But I was going through Shastra and I was making these affirmations and I was seeing there's so many I ams in Shastra. You could have all kinds of beautiful affirmations. I am light. I am purity. Whatever it is. I am consciousness. I am love. That's who you are. The false ego is whatever identity you give. That was my whole point. You have all these other identities. And those other identities go against your bhakti. I'm not very Krishna conscious. I can't do this. Do you realize, I don't know if you realize, maybe I didn't make the point clear. When you say these things, you create identities. And just like the lion who thought he was a bear, you live out those identities because that's what you believe. That's the danger. So you think, I'm meant to be in Maya, or I can't do this. Then you just like live it because that's what you believe. And then you tell everybody also. Well, how come you're not at the temple? Because I'm so this and that. All right. You're not going to be there tomorrow either because you have your identity that keeps you away. Right? Does that make sense? Like sometimes people say, I'm angry. That's an identity. You're not angry. That's your spirit soul. You cannot be angry. That can't be your identity. You have anger sometimes, but it's not who you are. But when you say I'm angry, it reinforces it. That's my identity. Yes.
Можно, да? Ну вот, я так понимаю, что можно ли вообще ложное эго совсем уничтожить? Потому что ложное эго, мне кажется, дает какое-то самосохранение, там огонь, опасность. То есть тело, оно самосохраняется. Если мы уничтожаем ложное эго, тогда вот эта сохранность, может ли душа взять на себя эту функцию, сохранять это тело? Или как это может быть?
Is it possible to destroy false ego completely? Because as Prabhu understands it, false ego also helps us to protect ourselves from different dangers. If we destroy false ego, would the soul take on that function of self-protection?
Yeah, false ego is what it is. Its name is, Ego is identity and false is false. So when you become Krishna conscious, naturally you destroy the false ego and you replace it with the real identity. So Krishna will protect you. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. You know what defending is? Well, one is defending your ego. But Prabhupada said over-accumulating money is defending because you feel insecure. Krishna will protect you, won't protect you, so I have to get money to protect me. But I don't think protection has anything to do with real ego, false ego. But the devotee just has faith in Krishna's protection. False ego means I will protect myself. Real ego is Krishna will protect me.
Но Кришна, он защищает, как душу нас воспринимает. Поэтому не так важно наше тело. Поэтому мы можем тело это, так скажем, потерять очень быстро.
But Krishna perceives us as souls and doesn't really care about the bodies, so we can easily lose them.
Lose our bodies?
Yes. Because
Why?
Krishna cares for the souls.
Well, not exactly. Well, you're alive, so how's that happening?
Потому что,
Who's keeping you alive?
ну, еще самосохранение, ложное эго.
Probably false ego which preserves me.
No, the air, the water, the food, the sun. That's keeping you alive. And you know the saying, if Krishna wants to kill you, no one can save you. Krishna wants to save you, no one can kill you.
Ну, Кришне не нужно наше тело. Кришне нужна наша душа. Но если я не буду думать о еде, поддерживать свое тело, то ложное эго же занимается. Поддерживать тело, здоровье, йога, там еще что-то такое, чтобы сохраниться как-то.
But Krishna doesn't need our bodies, he needs our souls. So
But how do you serve
it's my
him?
false ego that makes me, that forces me to eat, do yoga, exercises and things like that to keep my body healthy.
No.
I think he's talking about the identity. We don't
No.
have the other identity, the pure one, so we have to hold on to the false identity.
This body belongs to Krishna. Da?
Да.
So I have to take care of it. That's real ego. Because it belongs to Krishna. False ego, I take care of it, so I look good. And I feel good. Real ego, I take care of it for service. So you still take care of it, but the reason is different. Right? Yes?
Так, да.
So, if you allow yourself to become sick, the Prabhupada would say, no, it's not your body. You can't do that. It's Krishna's body. Like if you loan me something, you loan me your car, I have to take care of it. I can't destroy it because it's not my car. So this is not your body, it's Krishna's body, so you take care of it because it's his. Sanatana Goswami wanted to commit suicide. Lord Chaitanya said, you can't commit suicide because this is my body, it's not your body. Did you know that?
Санатана Госвами.
Yeah, Lord Chaitanya said, you cannot commit suicide because this is not your body. I own your body and I won't let you. So we stay healthy, not for sense gratification, but for service. So you're exercising, doing yoga, eating, drinking your herbs and drinks, and stay strong for service. Not for sense gratification. That's fine. So, I take care of my body because I'm not my body. Because it's Krishna's body. And sometimes I may not even want to take care of my body. Then I think, but I have to maintain it for Krishna's service. Right? Vaishnav Sheva has a question. I hope it's not about your wife.
Мне интересно, вот, такой вид счастья, когда человек делает что-то для других, ну, как бы, казалось бы, он обделяет себя неким комфортом, он его теряет, но совершая аскезу ради других, он получает счастье. И как вот, ну, интересно, как вот этого достичь, потому что часто можно гордиться этим или как-то, ну, то есть какую-то такую определенную ступень, на которой человек не искусственно это делает, а ну, по-настоящему вдохновлен этим.
Shanti Prabhu is asking about that type of happiness when a person is going through some austerities to help others, maybe at his own expense, and he's asking, I'm not sure what exactly, how to reach that state of consciousness without it being artificial effort.
But he wants to help other people without depleting himself with energy? Is that what he's saying?
Можете вопрос очень? Да как достичь этого уровня, когда вы для других там пожертвуете собой, чтобы это было искусственно?
Ну, Махатма Прабху говорил, что вот это счастье, когда человек ну, делает то, что ему нравится, как бы комфортно, да, то есть мне нравится, я делаю. Но ну, я встречал преданных, которые они вот получают удовольствие от того, что они вот обделяют себя каким-то комфортом. Вопрос в том, что как вот, ну это другой уже вид получается счастья, это тоже счастье, но другое, когда человек совершает аскезу, он не в комфорте, но тем не менее он получает это счастье, и как оно...
You were speaking about that type of happiness when someone does something they really like doing and hence they get that inspiration from these actions. But Vaishnava Seva Prabhu has met devotees who are doing something they don't necessarily like, but they are doing it to make others happy. So they go through some sort of austerity to make them happy, like self-sacrifice. So it's a different type of happiness then. That is the question.
Is it a different, and does it work, and how does it work? Is that the question?
Yes, I guess.
Does it work permanently? You have to be situated in your, ideally in your varna. So if it's not your varna, it'll work for a while. But by your nature, you want to act in a specific way. So it's not. For some people it may work, but for most people they need to find their varna and act in their varna to really be inspired. And some people are so renounced and so generous that just their whole life is to make other people happy. But you could say that they're very Brahminical. That's why they're happy. Because that's the nature of Brahmins. They're happy making others happy. But generally we find we all have different natures, and if we suppress those natures, most of us will not be as inspired as if we engage those natures. When you engage in Krishna service, then you're inspired in Krishna service. That's nice. And some people are inspired just helping others. Any way they can help others inspires them. Because that's their nature. Could be Brahminical, could be Shudra, service. I like to serve. Like to make other people happy. That could also be Shudra nature. But whatever it is, we engage in service. And if your devotee's happy just doing anything, that's great. And that's how a brahmachari is. He should just do whatever his guru asks. But if he's a real brahmachari, then naturally he's happy doing that. But most men, when they get 40, 50, if they're still brahmacharis, they're wondering, what is this what I'm going to do the rest of my life? What I did for the first 20 years of my brahmachari life? And the question, if they can do that another 20 years, because they're just doing whatever they're asked and they haven't really found, or they're not really engaging their talents in maybe in ways they want to. So that also happens. Just like you like to make videos, you get inspired. right? Makes you happy, right? Maybe you should make a movie. Yes.
Hare Krishna Gurudev. Is it, and can other varnas also be happy by making others happy?
Yeah, everyone's going to be happy making others happy. But do it. If you can do it according to your nature, it's better. Everything's about service, obviously. Everybody's serving. As I've often said, for the rest of my life I had to be an accountant. I would have no energy. I would actually be energyless, if that's what it's not my nature to do that. And maybe you like doing it, and it would inspire you. And for me, it would just bore me. Every day I'd wake up, I'd think, oh no, I have to go to work and look at numbers. I hate numbers. The only numbers I like are the ones on my bank balance. But otherwise, I hate numbers. So I can be the accountant in the temple for a while, and I'll do that as service. But I would be more inspired doing something else. But if I can't do that other service, then what can be done? I do what I'm asked. But in the long run, generally, it'll be better for devotees to be engaged in the way that they're most inspired. And it'll all be to serve. Everything we do is in service. So naturally, even if it's not your varna, if you're serving others, you'll be happy. But still, it's better if you do what you're most inclined to do. You know why? One nice way of looking at it is, you have $1 million. Your uncle, Joe Patel, has bought many hotels in America, and now he's giving you all the money. And I ask you, well, you ask me, now that I have $1 million, should I just move in the temple and live like a brahmachari and just keep it in the bank and do nothing with it? That would sound kind of foolish, wouldn't you think? So, you know how to do something, you do it really well, and you think, okay, well now that I'm a devotee, I won't do it. It's like, I have the $1 million, or I have the talent, I'm not going to use it. It doesn't make sense. If you have it, it's a resource. Why wouldn't you use it? Right?
I didn't understand that.
If you have a resource, an ability, why would you not use it for Krishna? Like, let's say you're a good accountant, you think, well, I like accounting, so I'm not going to do it. I'll make chapatis instead. And I hate cooking. And the whole day you're just depressed. It doesn't make sense. You have the ability to do the accounting, so why wouldn't you do it? Krishna gave that ability. Why did he give it? So you use it. And you don't know how to cook. You put the chapati on, it never puffs up, it just burns. Everyone's angry and agitated. So what's the point? Why would you do that? I mean, you may do it if you're asked, but there's a choice. Use the resource you have. Whether it's money, possession, intelligence, ability, use it. Is that okay? Okay, last question. One last question, and then you get prasadam. Don't go away.
He would like to know if you can have a desire to do something
Extra.
something spectacular for our Guru.
Jak się zmierzyć z tym?
How to
Only
deal with
Only
How
if
to
you
deal
can.
with this?
You have to make sure you can do it. If you can't do it, it'll be like just wasting energy. It's a nice story. we were, I was in Canada as a young devotee. We were looking for a farm. So we'd go drive around, have no money, couldn't even pay the rent, but we were looking for a farm because we knew Prabhupada wanted farms. So every day we'd go get in the car with the real estate agent and drive all day, this farm, that farm. We didn't know anything about farms. I don't know a good farm from a bad farm. What to speak of where I'm going to get the money. And before that, every day we would go on the street and we would chant from like 10:30 till 6 o'clock and distribute magazines, and that was what we did. So we stopped going out, and then all the devotees, which is only 3 or 4 of us, went looking for land. And then just every day look for land, and okay, there's that one and that one. And I wrote Prabhupada, he said, every day we're looking for land. But we stopped going out on the street, and it seems like keep looking for land, stop going out on the street chanting, and we don't have any money anyway, and we don't even know how to farm and what a farm is and who a farmer is. And Prabhupada said, okay, then forget it. Just go back on, So, you want to do something big, but can you do it? Do you know how? Is it feasible? Yeah. That you have to consider. I would say. Is that okay? Or find somebody who can do it big and help you. Tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
We're doing something big.
We're going to collect a lot of big trash. So if you want to come to the Ganges at Prabhupada Ghat, we're not going where we normally go because they think, I don't know, clean and green people arranged this. So you go to Prabhupada Ghat at 10 o'clock. You'll be given a...
10 or 10?
What?
10 or 10?
10? 10 verse 10. You'll be given as many bags as you want to collect trash. And maybe if we clean up everything, we can take the bags to our spot. So that's at 10 o'clock. And then I've been pushed to go to Srivas Sangha. So tomorrow's the day. If you want to go to Srivas Sangha, then you meet me at 5:15 in the morning, and then we'll take the parikrama path. That will take us to just above the yoga pith, and then we'll walk. Probably another 10-minute walk or something. And we can go to Srivas Sangha, which is where Lord Chaitanya had his kirtans in the evening. And all his associates. It was like Rasa Leela. They manifested ecstasies in the kirtan. So we can go there and feel the vibe. See if you feel something. So that'll be tomorrow. And then tomorrow night we'll be back here. And we'll continue. Is that okay? And the next night. Oh, then the next Sunday morning I give Bhagavatam class. And then Sunday night we'll continue in the temple. And then I think I'm going to go to Bangalore at some point in a few days, or 4 or 5 or something. I don't know yet. Okay? Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.